over an apartment building too in Chicago and in Colorado. So that was where I was going with this. Staying in
Oh,
Chicago.
they did the Carter. I
Yo,
heard some shit in Colorado that the whatever biker crew, like biker gang, Hell's Angels, or one of them cats is going back and forth with these Venezuelan immigrants type shit, like on some like, you know what I'm saying, turf war type shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit getting crazy out here. You know what I'm saying?
but that's the thing I wanted to touch on, right? Pause. The possibility war of a civil war breaking out in a city like Chicago and in a city like Chicago or a state like Colorado could possibly be brewing because of the so-called story that these Venezuelans are taking over certain buildings. But when I did the research, there was no real facts to none of these claims. So now is this story driven, like a myth driven, to paint a new enemy, to say these Venezuelans, these are the enemies, because a place like Chicago ain't gonna let that rock. There have been stories reported that there's been certain people at Chicago that has shot at and took in the life of one of the Venezuelans that was supposedly that helped to take over this one particular building. But again, is the story real? Is it credible? But it's floating out there. So is the spin working? That chicken sandwich, is that working to paint a new enemy of Venezuelans? We already feel a type of way about people that's coming from other countries getting access to the resources, and the people that's here not getting the access. Is this a way to basically build new enemies within the culture to take us away from the real thing that's going on over here?
No, that's a fact because it's like it's easy to point the finger at them and be like, "Oh, when we were coming over here when I was a child, y'all didn't have all the red carpets y'all do for them and this, that, and the third." And I get all that, but at the end of the day, it's y'all motherfuckers that's letting these niggas in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Y'all letting them in the first place through droves. You can't get into America without these motherfuckers allowing the shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way of getting in this motherfucker. Where are you gonna come in through America and sneak in? Where? You can't sneak in through Canada. You can't sneak in through the West Coast, that's Pacific Ocean. No,
Right.
that's not happening. You can't sneak in through the East Coast, that's the Atlantic Ocean. That's not happening. The only other place you got is through Mexico. And you ain't making it through them deserts. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't the movies, blood. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas ain't making that. So they're allowing these people in. There's my point. You're not sneaking in this joint. You feel me? You gotta fly a plane, which is already chartered, where they already have a manifest. They already know how many people's already coming in before you even land on in JFK or whatever international airport. Then when you get into the airport, you're triangulated through customs, and they figure you out and who your documentation is. You know what I'm saying? So they knowing who these people are because there's no other way for you to get in this country. You know what I'm saying? It's straight lockdown. So if there is a civil war, it's them situating it, and we got to go after them. You know what I'm saying? But if these Venezuelans is in our way, you better step aside because you a pawn right now, and we trying to give you respect and let you be cool with some frosted flakes. But if you step over here, you won't get this too. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been supposed to get this. But if you in the way, you gonna get it too. You know what I'm saying? You
I,
being used as a pawn. The immigrants is being used as a pawn. But if you step in the way of what we got going on with them, that's your ass. You know what I'm saying? All right, might as well send you to Turkey. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, go to Turkey. You know what I'm saying? It's lovely over there. It's a good time. Cause me and these people, we got more to talk about. Cause shit ain't right now. Cause the shit that these candidates are standing on is like, you gotta give us some. You ain't gonna get us for nothing. You gotta give up something. So whatever you gotta give up, it better be legit because you ain't getting this vote for free now. So All these tactics that they doing is new age because the old shit ain't working no more. So they gotta like floodgate all this other stuff. But even if you're using the immigrants as a storyline, it doesn't make you look good because you allow these people in. So how they gonna spin it, I would love to see it. That would be amazing to see how they spin that shit.
I pay for out of town shooters, but instead I get in town shooters, in town problems.
That's why you call for out of town shooters.
You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, get on the floor and share a meal with your man. Like that's how. Like, I on a serious note, right? We are a country that's about inclusion because there was some of us that was here and some of us wasn't here. I don't go with the fact that we all basically are immigrants that come to the U.S. I don't believe that. I believe that some of us was already here. Our bloodline, our family, our village, our set was already here. Some of us migrated at some point. Cool. When you're here, we popping, we in this together. You see what I'm saying? But now when you fresh coming through, you got access to all that. That's why I read the first report. You got access to all these resources. There's no need for you to take your resources and start buying guns and finding 10 other dudes that going to buy guns, form a posse, and go take over a building like you Nino Brown in New Jack City. There's no need for that when you already got access to the resources. So now when you have access to the resources, so now you're receiving resources. And now if the stories is to be true, to take over a building or apartment, now you taking resources that people are fighting just to get. People are fighting for the crumbs. And you got a whole slice.
That don't even make sense because it's like how you want you behind enemy lines. Like
Right.
you way behind enemy lines. How you even come up with the logistical know-how to know that this house on third and Platt is
Right.
abandoned, so we gonna take this over. You just
Right.
got here, blood. You don't even
Right. Right.
you know
So
what I'm saying? You just got here. How
so it,
you know where third and Platt is? And I just made that up. It's no, it doesn't even exist. You know what I'm
right.
saying? How do
Right.
you know that though? You know
Right.
what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
You ain't
Right.
even been here long enough to even know it's made up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes. It is not sensible. So I've seen a video where they showed mask and see, and this is the age of spin. That's why I say beware of the chicken sandwich, y'all. So I seen masked men. The video was like black and whitish, more like what's called sepia or something like that. And it was masked men, all had AR-15s, but they labeled them
My
Venezuelans,
my thing is
that it was Chicago. But we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure because people, not to cut you off, but there's people that are Chicago residents that got on these social media platforms. It was like, I wish a dude went to the area that they were supposedly at, and they were like, yo, I don't see no other melanated folks out here. So where they at? What's the story? So be careful of the spinning because the story itself is not sensible. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, this is where the closer and closer we get to November, the bigger and bigger the spin tactic is. And it's just I realized something like I don't know if I'm going off on a limb here, but if we are the minority, which means that our numbers are smaller than the majority, correct?
Correct.
If that's the case, and we always going to constantly be but the minority, meaning that our numbers are lesser than the majority, right? Then why the fuck do you care about our vote anyway? If it doesn't even, if mathematically it won't make sense, if it's not going to give you the numbers you need, then
If we're
why do you?
percent, if we're 14%, so 14% from 100, it, how much do it sway the vote?
Exactly my point. if we really 14%.
Right.
So if we only 14% and it's not really swinging the pendulum either other way, why are you going so hard for my attention then? Wouldn't you go harder for the majority that you need to sway the pendulum your way to get the vote, quote unquote? You know what I'm saying? Why do you need the minority vote? It don't even make no sense unless we actually the majority. Then it would make more sense. But you have the numbers skewed because you have people labeled in certain criterias. You know what I'm saying? So that puts certain people in certain separations. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it look like it's two different people, but it's really one and the same. But you just labeled three different ways. So when you say, "Oh, we are black," okay, the people that quote unquote call themselves black, all right, that's 14% of them. But the ones who don't call themselves black, but they look like those people, they over there. You know what I'm saying? They're a whole different category because you're in a different status. Whenever you hit a different, what's it called? A tax bracket, isn't that a different level? Don't you get treated a different way? Wouldn't you be in a different status? You know what I'm saying?
Stay right there. Stay right there. In the movie Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee character was like, yo, you say the word nigga all the time, but you have all these melanated people on your wall. He said, who's your favorite basketball player? White guy says Magic Johnson. Who's your favorite entertainer? Michael Jackson. So if you hate niggas, what are they? They bigger than that. This is what he says. They bigger than that. They more than that. They just that great. That they just them. So Spike Lee's character, like, that don't make any sense. That don't make any sense. So because of the labels cause the division. Because of the labels create the distinction between the others instead of saying, well, I ain't one of y'all. I'm over here with my peoples. But we one in the same. We one in the same. But we love to, because we love to dress the label a different way. Now we different. Now we the 14%.
My thing is, all these labels was all made up when they came up with the Census Bureau, and these were all made up terms because how skewed or how emotionally wrought the surveyor was. Honestly, if they came to a certain people's house, and back then everybody was Indian, right? But if they came to a certain person's house, and when I say Indian, I'm talking about black people. I'm talking about actual people from the South, actual people from the North. I'm talking about actual people from the Midwest. These are the Indians, the so-called Aboriginals, black people. You know what I'm saying? So when these Census Bureau people came and saw the multitude of black people living on their farms and their lands, and they saw that they were different shades, but couldn't explain what their different shades were, this is where the term mulatto and Negro and colored came into play because of the skewed ideology of the surveyor. I'm sorry, of the census taker. My fault.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. Of the census taker. So they're the ones that came up with these so-called terms that we hold now, that now have legal stipulations behind it. To now back to my whole point of this whole, we're the minority of black people, which is a made-up term which doesn't denounce a human being or anything of the such. It's a legal made-up fake jargon, but you hold on to it. So now you in this category of black. Now we only 14%. But if you look at the demographics, there's more people of color than anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
But you, because
But
of
we
the,
the minority though.
yeah,
All right.
but because of the label, and you keep everybody with a separate mindset, then it becomes easier to pin us against each other, like how they're doing, labeling it, even if it's true. The fact that they're spending it without no real hardcore proof, when you have the residents pulling up to these places, people from Chicago, I guarantee you, if they're gonna say 30 Venezuelans took over a building in Chicago, what building? The Jackson building over on Hewitt Ave. Oh, word? My peoples is over there. I used to go over there. They took over which one? Building 1 or building 2? Building 2. By tomorrow, they pulling up to building 2 to check the actual factuals because
But,
of social media and the power of it.
but my thing is like, well, this is where the spin come in. It's like, if it's in the hood, it's dilapidated and nobody gives a fuck about it. Why do we care that they going in the hood in the first place? If nobody gives a fuck about the neighborhood,
But
if it's an abandoned neighborhood, right? And nobody never cared about it in the first place. So now you go over there and supposedly take it over. Why would that now make people care? You know what I'm saying?
but it don't make sense, bro. Like people don't do that. Like that's like me going to Colombia because the United States fell. I'm going to Colombia. Colombia is like, yo, we're going to give you the best of everything. You're not going to have to pay no rent for 6 months to a year. And we're going to give you a suitable income per month. And we're going to give you uh, money to eat. So now you got food stamps to eat. You got money to help you build yourself up, save, get a job, and become a functioning member of our society. But I say, nah, I'm gonna go buy me some guns and then I'm gonna find 10 more US bros just like me. And we gonna say, yo, that building over there that we have no history of, we don't know who's connected to this building, who cares about this building. We're gonna take it over just because it's dilapidated, and we're just gonna take it over without even knowing that we don't know who care about that building. We don't know who was raised there. We don't know who the local thugs are. We don't know how the police move. But we gonna do that.
And they ain't even holler at Rico and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's mad disrespectful and shit. How you not even holler at Rico?
How you don't holler at Rico
You know what I'm saying? You flossing major chips.
around
You
the
know what
world?
I'm saying?
Rico been around the world. Rico been to Harlem, Switzerland. Down to Maryland. He been everywhere.
You flossing major chips and you ain't trying to holler at Rico at the Gills Nils?
At
Come
the
on, son.
Gills Nils.
What you rap? What you need to rap about?
Talk about what we need to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Cause I brought a
Gotta
gift.
holler at Rico, son.
I,
Everybody
I,
want to get with Rico, son.
I brought a gift for him and everything from my mans. You know what I'm saying? Call me Ike Love, partner. They call me Ike Love. You heard? So it don't make sense. That's why I broke down the story of what they're receiving. And you're in a foreign place. You don't know the area, and you like, yeah, no, we this is what we're gonna do. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The age of the spin. What did I tell y'all? I live off this formula. It's called the chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich is over here, y'all. It tastes real good. Whatever that how they want to spin it, that's the chicken sandwich. There's the real thing be happening over here. It's happening over here. And then there's what we think is going on once we figure it out. And then once we figure it out, they already scored the touchdown. They already got the 10 receptions, 304 yards, and 4 tuds. See how that worked? Easy. So again, y'all, it's just not making sense. There was a guy in Aurora, Colorado. He said, "Yo, they in Aurora, Colorado at this building taking over this, that, and the third." He pulls up to the building, and mind you, he said Aurora, Colorado ain't that type of place where if somebody take it over, that people,
Nobody ain't gonna know nothing.
yeah, like
There's too many warehouses over here for nobody to know nothing.
no.
You know what I'm
So,
saying?
so he pulls up and he's like, "Yo, ain't nobody over here." So be careful of the spin, y'all. Be careful. You could find 10 articles that's going to say absolutely nothing. And I'm not talking about nobody personally, but I'm just saying the age of spin is real. It's so much to the point where they could change the face recognition on a live video. On a live video. So the age of spin is real.
God, you can't talk about the chicken sandwich. You got Ron Jack hungry, dog. You better talk about some broccoli pops.
Popeye spicy extra sauce and
You better
pickles.
get some frozen broccoli pops, Ron Jack. You know what I'm
I've,
saying?
I've been doing keto for 3 weeks. So yeah, got me go get me hungry. Yeah, nah, but it's just not making sense. Again, we with us being here, hearing that somebody is receiving numerous amount of resources to start their life, and it just doesn't make sense to do that. Black coffee and boiled eggs. Yo, that's a wild that's
Might
wild.
as well add cornflakes
Yo,
to that.
I was just about to say that, yo. I was just about to say that. Add the
Yo, just make it a
cornflakes,
complete
brother.
breakfast, my nigga.
Add the cornflakes, you know what I
Just
mean?
add the flakes, my God. You know what I'm saying? Just make it a complete meal.
You know what I'm
Better
saying?
than them old breakfast meals. Like they had
The hash brown.
the Pillsbury McMuffin, right?
Yeah,
Then they had the Eggo waffle, right?
yeah,
Then they had perfectly cooked bacon, right?
yeah,
A fresh cup of orange juice and milk.
yeah.
And bro took a banana and went to work. Like, yo, how you leave this whole spread on the table, dog? Like, I know his wife
Yo,
is tight. Son. Like, how you
yo,
just take a banana, pause, and leave everything else? Son? She took her time to put that McMuffin in the toaster. You better eat that McMuffin. You know what I'm
yo. When I was a kid, I thought that's how breakfast was supposed to be. I thought you were supposed to have
saying?
milk,
Word, mad dishes
orange
on the
juice,
table.
bacon, like all that on the table. Like, you know what I mean? Come to find out, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm allergic to eggs. Like, half that bacon is the worst thing you can put in your body. Like,
You can't even eat none of them Jones. But they made that shit look delicious, son.
and don't forget the apples. Like, yeah, we're just gonna throw this apple in here to top this.
Nobody touched the apple, son.
Like, come on, man. That's too much sugar down to finish it with the apple. That's crazy.